Hi everyone. They told you that money is hard to get, that it's for a chosen few, that unless you come from the right family, the right background, or the right school, you'll always be scraping by. They told you rich people must have cheated, stolen, or stepped on others to get ahead. And for years you believed it. You swallowed it like it was true. But let me tell you something. The real lie isn't about money itself. The real lie is that it's out of your control, that you're powerless to change your financial life. But money doesn't come from your job. It doesn't come from luck. It starts in your thoughts. It's born in your beliefs. And if those beliefs are poison, your outcomes will be too. So if you've been wondering why nothing changes, it's because you've been trying to fix your bank account without fixing the blueprint in your brain. That ends now. Most people weren't raised to win, they were raised to get by. Think about it. What did you hear growing up? Be grateful you have a job. Money doesn't grow on trees. Don't aim too high, you'll only be disappointed. You were trained to stay safe, to settle, to believe that just surviving was good enough. And so you learned to shrink yourself, to play small. You were taught that chasing more meant being greedy, that wealth was for others, not for you. But the truth is, they didn't mean harm. They were just passing down what they were taught: fear, scarcity, limits. But here's the reality: survival thinking won't lead you to success. You weren't born to just pay bills and stress about money. You were built to grow, to build, to rise. But until you break free from that survival mindset, you'll keep living like the best you can do is barely enough. Two people can work the same job, the same hours, under the same roof, and live completely different financial lives. One keeps moving forward, the other stays stuck. One turns opportunity into income, the other turns effort into exhaustion. Why? It's not the job, it's not the paycheck, it's the mindset behind it all. How they think, what they believe, and most importantly, what they're willing to do with what they believe. Money doesn't begin with $1, it begins with a decision. A decision to think differently, to believe differently, to act like your thoughts shape your life, because they do. Your brain is not just reacting to your reality, it's creating it. Every belief you've accepted about money, every story you tell yourself about what's possible is building or breaking your future. Think about it. When you believe you're always broke, you act broke. You choose safe, you avoid growth, and you miss the doors that open. But when you start thinking like someone who's already winning, everything shifts. You move with confidence, you speak with intention, you take action that matches your future, not your fears. That's not magic, that's mental wiring. If you don't rewire your thoughts will keep recycling the same life. And no amount of hustle can outwork a broken belief system. You've been taught to run harder, work longer, grind more. But let me ask you, has it worked? Has all the chasing gotten you any closer to peace, freedom, or real success? Or are you just more tired, more stressed, and more lost than ever? You don't need to chase what you were built to attract. Success, wealth, opportunity, they're not about chasing, they're about becoming. When you focus on becoming the kind of person who thinks clearly, speaks with purpose, and moves with belief, you stop begging for doors to open and start drawing the right ones toward you. A magnet doesn't run, it pulls. That's what happens when your mind is aligned with growth. People feel it, energy shifts, ideas come, and you stop looking desperate for results and start looking dangerous with potential. So stop running in circles, shift your thinking, attract what belongs to you by becoming who you were always meant to be. Your brain is a sponge. From the moment you were born, it started absorbing everything around you: words, patterns, fears, ideas. You didn't even get to choose most of it. You just soaked it in. And what do sponges do? They hold on to whatever you pour into them. So if you were surrounded by struggle, that struggle became your normal. If you heard fear every day, fear became your foundation. Maybe your family worked hard, but never got ahead. Maybe you saw people stressed about bills, arguing over money, barely surviving, and your brain learned, this is just how life is. But here's the part no one told you. Just because you were programmed one way, doesn't mean you have to stay that way. The problem isn't that your brain soaked up the wrong things, it's that you've never wrung it out. You've never paused to ask, is what I believe about money even true? Because if the answer is no, it's time to clean out the sponge and fill it with something better. If you hear a lie long enough, it starts to sound like truth. And that's exactly what happened with money. You heard things like, money doesn't buy happiness, rich people are greedy, it's not spiritual to want more, over and over again. From teachers, from parents, from preachers, from people who meant well but never had more than survival themselves. And eventually you believed it, not just in your head but in your heart. You didn't question it because nobody else did either. That's how mental programming works. It hides behind repetition, and then those lies become the lens you live through. You hesitate when opportunities come. You feel guilty for wanting more. You self-destruct the moment things start looking good. Not because you're lazy or broken, but because your brain is just following the script it was given. And if that script says you're not supposed to win, you'll keep finding ways to lose, even when everything is set up for you to succeed. Some of the most dangerous beliefs don't sound dangerous at all. In fact, they sound normal, safe, even responsible. We can't afford that. People like us don't live like that. It's too late for me. These words come out so naturally you don't even stop to challenge them. But every time you say them, you're building a cage around your life. A cage made of your own thoughts. And the worst part, you think you're being realistic.
You think you're protecting yourself from disappointment, but what you're really doing is shrinking your vision before the world ever gets a chance to test it. You're pulling the plug before you've even flipped the switch. Limiting beliefs don't scream, they whisper. And that whisper slowly convinces you to settle, to shrink, to stop reaching, until one day you wake up wondering why nothing's changed. When the truth is, your mind was rejecting the change before it ever had a chance to begin. Picture this, you're in a car, foot on the gas, engine roaring, but you're not moving. You're doing everything right, pushing forward, giving effort, but something's holding you back. That something is your mindset. You're pressing forward with action, but dragging belief systems that scream, slow down, stay small, play safe. And just like that car, you burn energy, you waste time, but you don't move. That's what it feels like to work hard with a mind full of limits. You hustle, you grind, but nothing sticks, nothing builds, because the brake is still on. That brake might be fear, it might be guilt, it might be the belief that success isn't for people like you. Whatever it is, it's killing your progress. You'll never move forward with full power until you lift that brake, until you stop trying to win with a mind that's built to lose. You weren't created to stay stuck, but you've got to free your mind before your life can follow. Let's be honest, how many times have you said this time will be different, only to end up in the same cycle? You get a new job, a better opportunity, a bigger check, and somehow the struggle stays the same. That's not a coincidence, that's programming. It's like a computer running old software on a new system. It crashes. No matter how many times you reboot your life, if the code behind it doesn't change, the result won't either. And what's that code? It's your beliefs. It's the stories you've accepted about who you are, what you're worth, and what you're allowed to have. You can't earn a new future with the same broken code from the past. You'll sabotage it, you'll second guess it, you'll back away from it. Until you rewrite that script, you'll keep hitting the same wall, wondering why effort alone isn't enough. It's not about more effort, it's about better wiring. Change the code, and the results change with it. You don't need more time, you need a new choice, right now, because nothing changes until your thinking does. Not your bank account, not your future, not your life. Rewiring starts with one bold decision, to take back your mind, and tell it what to believe. People love to throw shade at the rich, they're obsessed with money, all they care about is wealth. But here's the truth, most wealthy people don't worship money, they respect it, they study it, they understand how it works, what it responds to, and how to use it as a tool, not a trophy. Meanwhile, the people who scream the loudest about how money isn't everything are usually the ones constantly stressed about it. That's the irony. The wealthy don't serve money, they make it serve them. They don't chase it with desperation, they attract it with clarity. They make smart moves, they think long term. They don't look for quick fixes, they look for strong foundations. That's not greed, that's wisdom. The rich aren't different because they have money. They have money because they think differently. And until you stop blaming and start learning from how they think, you'll keep holding on to the same old excuses while they keep building new levels of freedom. Broke thinking sounds like this. Can I afford it? Can I do it? Can someone like me ever get ahead? And the answer to all those questions is usually no, because the question itself is rooted in fear. But wealth thinking flips the question. It doesn't ask, can I? It asks, how can I? See the difference? One shuts the door, the other opens a path. One assumes limits, the other assumes options. You hear a price tag, and broke thinking backs away. Wealth thinking leans in and says, let's get creative, let's figure this out. That shift is everything. It turns obstacles into puzzles, problems into opportunities. Most people stop at the question. They never push past the wall in their mind. But wealthy people, they challenge the wall. They poke holes in it. They climb it. They know it's not about what you have right now. It's about how you think when you don't. The right mindset makes room where lack tries to close the door. Let's keep it simple. Wealthy people don't just live differently. They think differently. They focus on what they want, not what they fear. They believe they can grow, not that they're stuck. They build habits that multiply results, not just repeat stress. Different focus, different beliefs, different habits. That's what shapes a different life. You can't keep thinking small and expect big things to show up. You can't keep focusing on what's missing and expect more to come. Life reflects what you repeatedly do, and that starts with what you repeatedly believe. If you want different, you've got to be different. Not someday, right now. Change your patterns, and your life changes with it.
Money doesn't just reflect effort, it reflects identity. You can grind all day, work 3 jobs, burn yourself out. But if deep down you believe you're not worthy of wealth, your results will prove it. Wealth is a mirror. It doesn't lie. It reflects how you see yourself. Not just what you do, but who you believe you are. If you believe you're someone who always struggles, you'll find a way to stay struggling even when opportunity knocks. If you believe you're built to win, you'll start showing up like it. You'll take chances, speak differently, carry yourself differently, and that energy shifts the room. People feel it. Life responds to it. Not because you suddenly became someone else, but because you finally aligned with the version of you that was always there underneath the doubt, beneath the fear. Wealth starts with identity. Fix the mirror and the reflection will follow. Most people think their problem is money. I could just make a little more. But let's be real, more money won't fix a broken mindset. If you're thinking like someone who's losing, more money will just give you more ways to lose. You'll spend faster, worry louder, stay stuck in the same patterns, just with bigger numbers. That's why people win the lottery and still go broke. They didn't need more income, they needed better wiring. The real issue isn't the paycheck, it's the patterns. You can't keep feeding a mindset that's wired for lack and expect abundance to stick around. It won't. The truth is, your brain controls your budget long before your wallet does. So if you really want change, stop chasing more and start rewiring what's already running the show. Think higher, speak better, move smarter. A raise might give you a moment of comfort, but rewiring your mind, that gives you a lifetime of freedom. Here's the truth most people avoid. Your life will never rise above the identity you've accepted. Not your goals, not your dreams, not your hustle. If deep down you see yourself as someone who's just getting by, that's all you'll ever reach. Your self-image sets the ceiling. It determines how you respond to failure, how you handle opportunity, and what level of success you believe you're allowed to touch. You might want more, you might pray for more, but if the person in the mirror doesn't match the life you say you want, it won't last. You'll pull back, you'll doubt yourself, you'll let go of the very thing you asked for, because deep down you never truly believed it belonged to you. Change doesn't start with a strategy, it starts with identity. Until you see yourself as someone worthy of the life you want, you'll keep settling for the one you don't. You can't walk into greatness while dragging around an average identity. It doesn't matter how many books you read or how many hours you grind. If you keep calling yourself just average, just trying, just lucky to be here, you're building walls around your future. Those words matter. That mindset matters because it becomes your filter. You won't speak up when you should. You won't stretch beyond what's safe. You'll shrink every time things get big because average people don't believe they belong in powerful places. That's how breakthroughs get blocked. Not by lack of skill, but by a small self-image. The moment something good shows up, that average identity starts pulling you back. Who do you think you are? This isn't for people like you. And just like that, the opportunity fades. Not because it wasn't real, but because your identity rejected it. Want the breakthrough? Start by breaking up with the version of you that's too afraid to grow. Trying to build a powerful future on a weak identity is like pouring fresh water into a cracked bottle. It leaks. Every time you try to level up, that broken identity spills it. You say you want wealth, but your identity is still tied to struggle. You say you're ready for change, but your mind is still wired to your past. That's why things feel stuck. That's why nothing seems to last. It's not the opportunity, it's the container. You're still carrying labels from years ago, still calling yourself what life called you when you were down. And now every time something better comes your way, you don't hold it, you question it, you fumble it, because you haven't healed the container. New habits don't stick without new identity. New goals don't grow inside old beliefs. So if you want to build a new life, start by repairing what you're building it in. Until you fix the inside, the outside will keep falling apart. Words are seeds. What you speak, you plant. And most people have spent their lives planting doubt, fear, and limits into their own minds. That's why rewiring starts with your mouth. Say it, I am built for success. I am worthy of wealth. I am ready to rise. Don't wait until you feel it. Speak it until it becomes normal. Your brain believes what it hears the most, so give it something worth believing. You can't speak defeat all day and expect to feel powerful. You can't repeat failure phrases and expect success to follow. You gotta flip the script. You gotta flood your mind with truth over and over until it drowns out the noise of your past. This isn't just motivational talk. This is how you reprogram your system. One word at a time, one day at a time. You change the story you tell yourself, and you change the life you wake up to. This was never just about money. It's not about income, promotions, or bigger checks. It's about identity, who you become in the process. Because when your identity shifts, everything else follows. The money, it's a reflection. The opportunities, they respond to the person you're becoming. If you only chase the result and ignore the root, you'll keep running in circles. But when you focus on becoming the kind of person who thinks with clarity, moves with confidence, and lives with purpose, your whole world begins to shift. You stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop handing your future over to fear. You stop asking for permission to rise. This journey isn't about getting rich. It's about becoming someone who never has to chase money again, because who you are naturally attracts what you need. That shift, that choice, is where the real power begins. Let's stop pretending that success just shows up one day. It doesn't fall out of the sky. It doesn't answer your wish. It's not waiting at the end of your to-do list. You don't get rich by dreaming harder. You get rich by thinking better. Every single day, success is built in the mind first, and the only way to keep building it is through daily work. Mental work. That means waking up and checking your thoughts before you check your phone. That means asking yourself, am I feeding growth or fear today? Your brain needs training like your body does. If you don't work it daily, it defaults to old settings that were built to survive, not thrive. You can't fix your finances with a lazy mindset. You can't create wealth with a head full of doubt. This isn't about one big moment. This is about rewiring your mind, day after day, until the new way becomes the only way. Before the noise starts, before the headlines, the emails, the stress, your mind is wide open. That's the moment to plant your direction. First thing in the morning, speak your vision out loud. Declare where you're going before the world tries to convince you otherwise. If you don't fill your mind with purpose, the world will fill it with panic. If you don't tell your brain what matters, it will chase everything that doesn't. Wake up with intention. Say what you want to see. Today I walk like a leader. Today I move like I'm already successful. When you start your day grounded in vision, you stop being shaken by fear. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. Don't let the world set the tone for your day. Set it yourself, because how you start determines how you show up.
And how you show up decides what kind of day you build. Your brain is listening, even when you're not. And most of what it hears is garbage, negativity, doubt, distractions, endless scrolling. You say you want to grow, but you're feeding your mind things that shrink you. You can't expect clarity from a mind full of noise. You can't build success while constantly consuming failure. It's time to overhaul your input. That means turning off the trash and turning on the truth. That means less gossip, more growth, less scrolling, more studying. Watch what you feed your brain the same way you watch what you feed your body. You wouldn't eat poison and expect health. So why would you feed your brain fear and expect confidence? Protect your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does. What goes in comes out. So ask yourself, are you feeding your doubts or your destiny?
Listen to how you talk about money. Really listen. Are your words building wealth or reinforcing struggle? I can't afford that. Money's always tight. That's too expensive for me. Sounds normal, right? But those words are digging trenches in your brain, and every time you say them, you're reinforcing the idea that money is out of reach. You're building a broke world with broke language. Change how you speak and you'll start changing what you believe. Oh, instead of I can't afford it, try how can I afford it? Instead of that's too expensive, say that's worth growing into. Words matter, they shape thoughts, and thoughts shape decisions. If you want to change your finances, you have to detox your language. Start talking like someone who's building wealth, not someone who's always behind. Speak with purpose, speak with expectation, because the words you choose are creating the life you live, one sentence at a time. Busy doesn't mean productive, and routine doesn't always mean progress. You can fill your day with safe little tasks, check 100 boxes, and still go nowhere. Because real growth, real wealth comes from bold moves, the kind that scare you, the kind that stretch you, the kind that make you uncomfortable. Playing it safe might feel responsible, but it won't build your future. It just maintains your present. Look at anyone who's created something powerful. They didn't play small. They took risks. They jumped when it wasn't guaranteed. They made moves that made other people nervous, and that's why they broke through. If you're stuck, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're comfortable, and comfort is a silent trap. Stop hiding behind busy work. Stop mistaking motion for movement. Make the call. Launch the idea. Take the step. Boldness builds what routine never will. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling, it's a mindset that multiplies. When you focus on what you already have, you start to see more of what's possible. You stop chasing from a place of lack, and you start building from a place of strength. That shift matters, because lack thinking attracts more lack. But gratitude, it invites growth. Say it every day. I'm thankful for what I have. I'm excited for what's coming. Not out of fake positivity, but because gratitude rewires your brain for opportunity. It tunes your mind to abundance, not scarcity. And over time, what you appreciate really does appreciate. More peace, more clarity, more results. The world changes when your mindset does, and gratitude is the doorway. So train your mind to see the good, to speak the good, to expect the good. Because when you move with thankfulness, you move in alignment with increase. Comfort is the most dangerous addiction nobody talks about. It doesn't come in a bottle or a needle. It comes in the form of routines, excuses, and justifications. It feels good. It feels safe. But it slowly kills your drive. It numbs your ambition. It tells you to stay where it's easy, even when easy is eating away at your potential. Most people are hooked and don't even realize it. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, habits that hold them down. Not because they can't change, but because change is uncomfortable. Comfort whispers, you're okay, even when your life is screaming, you're stuck. It doesn't shout like pain does. It creeps in quietly, and by the time you notice, you've been living the same year over and over again. If you want a different life, you've got to wake up. Because comfort might feel good today, but it will cost you everything tomorrow. There's a war inside you every day. One voice says take it easy, the other says level up. One tells you to stay in bed, the other tells you to chase the dream. Comfort says you've done enough. Growth says there's more in you. You have to choose, because you can't serve both. You can't hold on to safety and step into greatness. They don't live on the same street. You want more, then you have to rise when your old self tells you to sit. You have to move when fear tells you to wait. Growth hurts. It stretches you. It exposes your weak spots. But that pain is proof you're growing. Comfort wants to protect your ego. Growth wants to develop your future. Which one are you feeding? Every choice you make is a vote. Are you voting for the life you want or the one you're trying to escape? Choose wisely, because comfort won't stop calling, and neither will your potential. Look at your daily habits. Be honest. Are they building the future you talk about, or just keeping you busy enough to avoid the fears you refuse to face? Too many people stay productive doing things that don't push them. They hide behind checklists. They overplan, overthink, and underact. That's not growth. That's babysitting your fears. Fear of failure, fear of looking foolish, fear of losing control. So instead of training for success, you spend your energy protecting your comfort zone. But let me ask you something. Has your comfort zone ever taken you anywhere worth going? Has it ever opened a new door or introduced you to your next level? No, it keeps you stuck, dressed up as safety. If you're serious about the future you say you want, then you've got to start training for it. Show up like it's already yours. Move like someone who's done playing small, because your future isn't waiting. It's watching what you do next. Comfort doesn't look like a trap. It looks like your favorite chair, your stable job, your easy routine.
It feels soft, familiar, but it's still a cage, a velvet one. No bars, no noise, just slow death by sameness. You tell yourself you're being smart, being responsible, but deep down, you know you were built for more. That fire inside you, that's the real you, suffocating under just enough. Comfort keeps you from risk, but it also keeps you from reward. It locks you in a life that's quiet, but not fulfilling, safe, but not satisfying. That's how comfort fools you. It gives you just enough to keep you from reaching. But the life you want, the real growth, it's on the other side of that velvet. You have to tear it down, rip through the lies, because the longer you stay, the more it feels like home, and the more you forget you were ever meant to leave. You want change? Get uncomfortable. Not once, not sometimes, every day. Stay uncomfortable until your old self can't recognize you. That's where the growth is. That's where the breakthrough lives. Comfort is the killer of potential, and the only way to kill comfort is with consistent, intentional discomfort. Not chaos, not burnout, stretch, challenges, pushing limits, speaking up when it's easier to stay silent, taking action when it's safer to wait. Growth demands that you do what most people won't, that you show up in places that scare you, that you say yes when your fear screams no. And here's the twist. Over time, the discomfort becomes the new comfort. What once scared you becomes your new strength, but you gotta earn it. No shortcuts, no cheats, just a decision to lean into what stretches you, because everything you want is hidden in the place most people refuse to go outside the comfort zone. Go there, stay there. That's where your future is being built. Right now in this moment, you're standing at the fork in the road, and whether you realize it or not, your next decision has the power to define your future. You can keep the same mindset, keep telling yourself the same stories, keep living the same results, or you can choose different. You can choose growth. You can choose to rewire your thinking and break the cycle that's been holding you back for years. But make no mistake, this isn't a someday moment. This is the moment. And it's not just about choosing a path. It's about choosing who you're going to be from here on out. You've heard the message. You've felt the pull. And now you're here at the line where change either begins or gets ignored all over again. So look at your life. Look at where your mind has taken you. And ask yourself, do I keep going this way, or do I finally change the direction? There are only two outcomes from this point, and they couldn't be more different. One path leads to regret, the kind that shows up years from now when you realize you stayed stuck because it was easier than changing. It's the path where you keep repeating patterns, making excuses, and convincing yourself that next time will be different. That path is paved with what-ifs and could-have-beens. But the other path, that one leads to reinvention. It's harder, it demands more, but it gives more too. It's the path where your future starts to reflect your vision instead of your fear. It's not for the timid, it's for the ready. The ones who are tired of talking and finally ready to move. You can't walk both paths. One protects your comfort, the other creates your future. So decide, are you walking toward regret, or are you ready to rebuild from the inside out? Don't lie to yourself and say you'll get serious someday. That day doesn't exist. Later becomes never. If you don't act right now, every time you say I'll do it tomorrow, you train your brain to delay your own growth. You teach yourself that dreams are optional, that vision can wait, but you don't get time back, and you don't get to wish for change and walk like it doesn't matter. Now is the only time that has any power, not next week, because now is uncomfortable, now is inconvenient, but now is real. If you wait for it to feel perfect, you'll die waiting. So stop promising yourself future action while living a present lie. If your mind is ready to grow, don't silence it, follow it. You're not stuck, you're just stalling. And that stops today. Move now, speak now, decide now. The life you want is waiting on the other side of this moment. You've heard the lies. Money is evil, stay safe, dreams are for others, lies that kept you small, lies that stole your power. But now, you see the truth. You see that mindset shapes reality. You see that identity runs the show. You see that you were never broken, just miswired. And that truth demands action. You can't unsee it. You can't pretend you didn't hear it. This is the moment where knowledge turns into decision. You either step forward or stay behind. You either rise or stay small. No more middle ground. No more maybe. You know the lies. You see the truth. So now decide. Decide to think higher. Decide to speak stronger. Decide to show up like the future is already yours. Because knowing the truth isn't enough. Living it is what changes everything. Everything you've heard, everything you've faced, everything you've felt. It all comes back to one truth. Money starts in the mind, not in your job, not in your circumstances, not in your bank account, in your thinking, in your beliefs, in your identity. You want to change your life? Start with how you think about it. Because your future isn't something you wait for. It's something you train for. It grows from the inside out. Your results follow your routines, but your routines follow your mindset. And the moment you change your mindset, you've already started rewriting your story. Every breakthrough you're looking for, confidence, clarity, wealth, peace, it all begins in the space between your ears. That's the engine. That's the source. That's where the real power is. Don't underestimate it. Don't delay it. The life you want doesn't start when things get better. It starts when you think better. Right here, right now. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about going back to the version of you that believed you were built for more. Before the doubt, before the fear, before the world told you to shrink. Wealth isn't a goal you chase. It's a reflection of the person you were always meant to be. It's not about greed. It's about alignment. It's about finally stepping into your real self, the one that moves with purpose, thinks with clarity, and expects good things. That version has always been in you, but life tried to bury it. Now you're digging it back up. You're not chasing money to prove something. You're rising into wealth because it matches the power you've always had. So stop thinking of success as a destination. It's a return to boldness, a return to vision, a return to the truth. You were never average. You just forgot for a while. Rewire your thoughts, because the beliefs you built yesterday are shaping your life today. And if those thoughts are rooted in fear, lack, or limits, then you'll keep living small no matter how hard you work. Reclaim your power, because somewhere along the way you handed it over. Maybe to fear, maybe to failure, maybe to the opinions of people who never saw your worth. But today, you take it back. You stop playing by rules that were never made for your rise. Reinvent your life, because you are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not powerless. You are one decision away from everything shifting. One new thought, one bold move, one clear yes to a better version of you. Rewire, reclaim, reinvent. Let those words burn into your mind, because that's the blueprint, that's the process, and it starts with the choice you make next. Think bigger, because small thinking will never lead you to a big life. Speak stronger, because your words build the walls of your world. And move bolder, because comfort never made anyone great. Don't wait. Don't plan it to death. Don't hope it shows up on its own. Start today. Start now. The person you've been waiting to become, they're already inside you, waiting for action, waiting for ownership, waiting for you to finally stop playing small and start living loud. Your life doesn't shift when the calendar changes. It shifts when your choices do. So take the risk. Make the call. Say what you mean. Stand where you've been scared to stand. You've heard the lies. Now walk in the truth. You've seen the patterns. Now break them. Think bigger. Speak stronger. Move bolder. Start today, because your future isn't waiting. It's watching.